Hello my friend, welcome to the channel. In today's code block, I will be adding a helper function called createArgs into the CLI builder. I need this because when I'm using it, I find out on the consumer side I want to test the command directly and without the need of running the whole CLI, and which is more concise, and especially this would be useful when I'm doing writing commands for the plugin CLI. So let's begin by creating a test. So we will be create arguments spec.ts, and I will be importing Ava and write the test to saying the simplest things would be empty argument v gives empty arguments. Okay, so there is a concept of empty arguments which is simple enough. That is argument v equals to an array, an empty array. So to use it, it will be create arguments and then pass in the empty argument. Actually, instead of doing that, let me just do an empty string, and then I would expect the arguments come back like this. And how it is actually being used is I want to make sure first it can be used correctly. Is I can do, say, for example, echo command. I can get the echo command, and then in the echo command, this is a spec, so it doesn't have anything. So I also need one more thing, which is the create command. Oh, I don't have that file, but I know it's available because this function, the create command, is actually used, is an actual code, and I have it re-export over here in under the test_util function. So reference it in there and export it over there so that it is available in the test_util when you reference it. So in this way, originally that command is internal to the source code, and then I make it external here. So that's why it is available. So to use it, you normally would be saying create command, and then the spec, which in this case is echo command, and then the presenter, and then the context. Well, of course this won't compile, and then I would get a command, and then in the command I can call run, and run with the arguments as well as the argument read, the raw argument. So when I'm testing, say I was creating a command, create this echo command. So how I would test the code is I define it and then call this create command to create the actual command, and then I pass in the arguments, right? Argument S and argument V, right? And to complete this story, I'm going to throw this code away because this is just demoing, make sure I am creating the right thing. It will be used like this, right? So after that, then I can make sure I can do the assertion to make sure that the command is run as I wish, right? I can do the command override the UI to make sure that the right thing get called, or I can use the in-memory presenters to create, when over here, when I'm passing in the presenter factory, I can use the in-memory presenter factory to pass it in so that it will get a in-memory presenter, so I can check the actual message that get printed out and make sure that the information is correct. So this is how it would normally be used. Of course, in the actual code, when you're writing tests, you should do some refactoring to make things clean up. But that's not what I worry about over here. I just worry about make sure what I'm creating is the right thing. So that seems to be fine. So I'm going to do this, create arguments, and then it will pass in an argument v, the raw argument. I can type this to make it a little bit nicer. So, and then this, supposingly say to pass empty, what I would expect. Now let me remove this. Then I would expect, actually I should do a deep equal. This would be the same as empty, and like this. Because internally in the CLI, I know that it used the minimist to do the parsing, and when you pass in an empty array, this is what you will get. So to get things passed, let's first fix it by returning that, and then since I'm not using it, I would do this, and then I don't need this now, and that get all the compiler error array, and so I can run the test. Right, actually let me say return an empty object first, so I can make sure that it failed. Come on. Yep. Oh, no test found. Because I forgot to save it. There you go. It fell, and then when I put this back, it passed. Okay. So the next task, let's move on. So passing in, let me just say like this, and use the string literal so that I don't have to escape and do double quotes. So it saves my pinky a little bit. Say, let's see, argument 1 gives arguments with argument 1. Right, that's what I would expect. Let's actually bring it up like that. Although I don't have to, this is a little bit too technical. Normally when you're writing the test description, you want to make it more readable. This is not very readable, but we can see fixing that later on. So argument v is argument 1, and then arguments would be create arguments, argument v, and then test.div equal arguments equals to argument 1. Right. So when I run it, of course this will fail. At least I expect it would. Yes, it does fail. So how do I fix this? Now I have to pull in the thing. So what happened is that I can use the minimist to do that. But so over here, well, let's trace it through from here. So in the CLI itself, when I receive a raw argument, I would do the pass argument and do the slice one over here, because to get rid of the name of the CLI. So because that's not needed. No, actually, I think this first slice is removing the Node.js or something, or maybe the CLI name, I forgot. But either way, it just think of it is just getting the raw argument and pass it in and parse it. So I already have this function. So, and internally, you can see that it used the parsable, the command, the CLI. This can be the CLI or the command, as long as it satisfies this structure, this interface. So I pass it in, do the options, and then run this and get the information. So very likely, I guess, in the final product, the final create arguments, I would need to pass this in because I need to get this argument. But to try to minimize the change, or try to be make the code as simple as possible, let's just assume that I didn't know that how do I spell minimus? Minimus, and then also I need to actually go back over here. Why I do that, why I make that sound, is because I don't like what I have over here. This is very likely an issue that kind of historical, and I should have to import minimist equals to require minimist, because this syntax is doing a interrupt between the CommonJS style and the ES6 style, and there is some problem because in TypeScript the interrupt looks like this, and then in Babel or in Babel it is like this, minimus from minimus, and this difference create quite some problem. And currently in the TypeScript GitHub, there is an issue try to address this, but currently it's not. So hopefully that gets sorted out, and so I think I should be using this instead. So let's keep this, and so we'll call minimus. So how it get used, raw arguments and options. Well, I could have just read it here, right? So argument, the raw argument, and then the option. It is optional. Yes, it is optional. So I would see. Let's see if this pass. Oh, I forgot to save. Yes, it passed. So that's okay. Well, instead of cleaning this up, because I don't want to bore you to death, let's move on to the next test. So I would say argument 1, well, actually, just say some option, right? X, like this. This should be an option. Gives, well, just gives X true. I believe that is the case. And then it will return an empty array. I'm not 100% sure, but the test will tell me. Okay, so I just copy this up. I'm in Mac right now. Is the Command key. So -X, and then I should expect this to come empty and X true. Okay, so this should fail. Oh, it passed. Oh, really? Without any options that will work? Interesting. Interesting, I didn't know that. So if that's the case, let's try one more, right? And this time, let's name the test a little bit better. So I would say named option gives X named options. Well, let's say instead of doing all those naming, because right now it's a simple creation, so I don't need the detail to describe what the behavior, the test. I would like to have the test over here describe it. You can read a little bit, right? So I would just keep the name like this. So what this means is the argument would be, let's say X, and I forgot I can do equal, equals, let's say 1 ABC. Okay. So with that, then the arguments equals to create arguments, argument V, and then deep equals arguments, and I would expect X ABC, and then that. Let's see, does it pass? Does it pass? Yes, it does. It works. And let's change this to let, because I want to call it one more time with the other syntax. Excuse me. With the other syntax. Hey, come on. Hey, I didn't copy. Please remove this too. Clean up. And let's see if I can still get it to work. Nope. And in this case, is it right? Yeah, I think it's right. And what it means is the minimus actually doesn't support this, and rightly so. Well, is it rightly so? Let's double check. Let's double check. Minimist, and then X free. That doesn't work, right? This X space free should give X free. So let's see if I get this. Well, and actually 1x, right? 1x and 5, and actually also support this, right? So I also want to test that. X space free, it would be giving me this, but right now it does not, right? It gives me an extra space. That's interesting. So let's do this. And 5, just like in the example. And this would get a 5, and this would get an n, right? And 5. You can do this. The dash dash, the double dash, right? That will work. and then this stay at full bar C. So I will be using this as a kind of integration test or the final acceptance test, but right now not yet. Okay, so this is interesting. It seems like this is failing. So let's see if it's the reason, because obviously I know that I is missing the option over here. So let's see, how do I concat? X equals to, how to do the minimist? Well, now at this point, since that I already have the pass argument v function, the reason I was trying to avoid it because it does a lot of stuff which essentially I was thinking that I'm going to use, but I was just trying to keep the code simple to make sure that it works, right? And the fact is I actually already know that it should work because the way I designed it is I allowed it to pass in and work with the CLI itself, and also when I'm going in for each command, when there's a command, I can pass a command in and pass in with the command arguments, right? So you can see it over here. It do the raw argument slice, blah 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 blah, do all that. And the bottom line is when I get at the end is the raw argument needed by the command. I just pass it in and it will work. So what happened is let's stop the pretending, and let's just use what I already have. So pass argument and see how it goes. Pass argument, the passable is the object I want to do pass in, and now this one is the actual passable than the thing that I wrote. So this is more familiar to me, so I can easily create that. So the test case that I'm failing is the X, right? So I want to put the X, and then I was saying, well, I don't need any default. And I think I need a description. So, well, just option X, doesn't really matter. Okay, and remove that. So I just want to make sure that this test case is working correctly. Oh no, it doesn't. It gives the same error. It gives a space free. I wonder, now I'm wondering, could it may be a issue with limiters? Although I'm pretty hesitant to say that because it's been used for in everywhere. But since that is the case, let's comment this out first and make sure that the rest still pass, and which likely does not. Unknown option N, because now I am doing a lot of validation, right? I'm using this code that I wrote and doing that, which is something that's nice, that is good to have, right? Because even when I'm testing a command, I want to make sure that the arguments I put in is actually valid, right? So it fell with a reason, with the right reason. So given that, that means I really should pass this in. Right, so then I would be doing the same thing, right? Possible, and pass it in. And then now the quick question then, do I really need this? Because, well, but let's do the refactoring afterwards. So with this, I'm not expecting anything, so I can just pass in an empty object and let's see if it's work, right? So this is an argument, but let's keep it there for now. And this one I know that is an option, so I would say option. Oh, it doesn't give me the code completion. It doesn't give me. Did I spell it correctly? Let's take a quick look. PLLSEABLE. Is that correct? Now I'm not sure. I better figure it out. Well, actually, let me just figure it out right now. Yeah, it should be possible. PARSABLE. So I make a mistake, a spelling mistake. So I keep this and then we'll fix it next. Oh, that's fun, huh? Okay, so go back here. Yeah, I skipped that one, but it's okay. I can fix this. Options, and then the options would be, this is a string option, and it is X, and then I require the description so that it can print out a nice name, although in the test, who cares, right? And then over here, this is the same. So let's, well, although I really shouldn't refactor it at the same time, but option X constant, Control C, option X with that, so that I can pass this in also, option X. And then let me put it up here so that JavaScript mode won't bug me, saying that I should declare upfront I use before it is defined. And so over here is I have option X, but now I have option Y, option N. I mean, let's take a quick look. I have this, and then an option N. Well, instead of messing around with the options and add things in and do all that, actually let me break it up so that the code is a little bit cleaner. I don't mind just one more test, named option with equal. All right. And then I'll close this and then test, and named option without space, right? And then let's also put this one out. Well, let me put it over here first. Place it over here and with space. Right, and I know it failed, so I can do failing or skip. Non failure. Well, let's skip. Well, no, let's fail it right now so that I know that it's a non failure, because likely I want to support this. So let me do this. Of course, right now I am missing the const, right? And then this pass in option X, and also I'm missing const, and then this is now option N, right? So instead of creating inside, although it might not be used, but it's okay, option N, option N. And now let's see how it looks like. There's still some tests is failed, and then this is not true. Now it become an empty string because I pass in the test is which one is this one, because I pass in option X because it declare it as a string. So I would declare that the naming start getting messy, but it's okay, because for now, just get a pass boolean, so put it over here. Where is it? This guy. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now this one also failed, and because I was passing in an empty object, and empty object does not expect any argument. And should I by default allow any argument? Better not. So I would create arguments, and then I think this is an array. I can double check. I can double check that by doing this. Unfortunately, there might be a better way, but right now I don't mind. So go back here. So it is an array of object. Yep, and then it needs a name. I know, to give the say let's call X. That's it. That should pass because I know it should work. Oh, it does not. Oh, it does not. Argument. Oh, what happened? It's missing. It's not giving me that. Is that a bug? Is that a bug? Oh, no. Require? It shouldn't matter. Oh, Did I just discover a bug? Missing argument. Why? Oh, because it's a command. So because this is being used as a command. So let's just make it pass first before I think about it. Let's see if that's true, because it was failing because now I said required, and yeah, there you go. So the pass argument, which internally calls it, it doesn't need, it needs the command name. That's how that code works. So, but during test, do I want the user to keep, when he create arguments, always put the commands in there? Right, so this is a design choice. I can do it, or I can also skip it. But given writing test and passing an argument, and since you are testing a command, you wouldn't think about calling it like as if you are actually calling it in a CLI. Right, in the CLI, just give you what I mean is normally when you are running the actual CLI test, you would put in node and then the CLI and then the command and then any arguments. And of course, the argument V remove that for you. So, and well, actually it puts that back in. So when you're using it, all you need to do is specify the CLI name to make it kind of complete, and then pass the thing in, and then it will do that and then return it. So the question now is about the design choice and also about consistency. So in the create argument, I pass in the CLI name, which kind of, when I'm running the CLI, I need to pass it in to make things, kind of correct. I pass the node, pass the CLI name in front to the argument, and then run it. So when you're using it, you say CLI, and then command, and then arguments, or commands, subcommands, and arguments. So it's actually requiring you to do that. Okay. So then, should I keep that parallel? If I keep it parallel, then that means the user need to do this when testing the command, which I feel really like something, really not adding value, is something extra. I would like to just call that as a command, just do that, right? And over here, and you can see that I do that and call it out like this to make sure that the user knows the first argument is actually the CLI name, because I want it to pass it in, and I don't want to just, any arguments, and make it confusing. So in this case, I would incline to keep it like this. Okay, I would incline to keep it like this. Of course, unless the command code will throw up if you don't give it a command name. Okay, which then I need to just double check. Right, I can write a test to run it, but I might not have to. So this is the command that get passed in, and you can see that it remove the command chain count. Okay, so now in this case, I would like to make sure. No, I would like to make sure that I am doing the right thing correctly. So what I'm going to do is just do that, save it, and see what I get. Right, the Eva will print all those out. So you can see that it is actually not. It is actually not having it. So when this command is passed into the pass argument, it doesn't have the command name. Okay, this is actual option arguments. You can see that, right? And this is, say, the ENO verbose. It doesn't have any of the. Oh, hold on a second. Next command, OPT No, it is the command name. Let me double check. Yes, say the option commands is OPT, and the argument command is ARG. So it does looking for that, and I don't want to change that behavior. So okay, so then unfortunately, because of that, I do need to pass in some command. And with that, and then just make sure that I don't mess it up, remove this line. Then the code should pass. Right. All of them pass. So now with this, I should also make sure that this also filled in correctly. But instead of calling that, hard coding it, I am going to import from createArgs, and then use that to guide me. Right, ARGV, and although it say the CLI name, I will fix that. Right, so the code completion, what you get for using TypeScript helps you to clarify the intent, clarify what you are writing. So that's definitely a good thing. So it will be like this. And then let's change all this to saying this. I think it's the same thing. So fixing this and then fixing this. Now the question is, well, should it be one command or two commands? No. Arguments, but let's keep it like this. See how it looks like at the end. And so changing all this become that, and let's see if the test still pass. Oh no, too many arguments. Which one? Name option without space. Named option without space. So it seems like there's some issue. Just make sure that that is correct. Is that the only test pass? No. The whole bunch of them fail. All of them fail. Oh yeah, because it adds in that node. It added that node. That's not what I want. Oh, so Control-C all the way. Sorry, wrong. So back to this. Man, that really bothers me. What should I do? Well, I'm not sure at this moment. I need to think about it. And since, well, as usual, a simple question, a simple problem can get more involving than you normally would expect. So I will stop today's code block at here and continue next time. And well, hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something. And we'll see you next time. And in the next one, I will continue this problem. All right.